All Across Perspectives is using our perspective of concepts, ideas, and latest news events that are reshaping the world that you live in to educate and inform so that the average person can prosper in this ever-changing world.
You can't handle the truth.
Breaking news.
Note, under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowances made fair use for the purposes such as criticism, news reporting, educational, informative, and more. No copyright infringement intended. This video falls under fair use guidelines. Any attempt to claim falsely the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, better known as DMCA, is illegal and will be countered. Hello, this is All Across Perspectives Worldly Financial News Report for the week of January 4th, 2026, and I'm your host, Everett Day. These are the exciting events we will cover today. The Federal Reserve is moving money around as if it was herding stray cats to avoid a bag, and many financial leaders are providing their investment views regarding cryptocurrencies. What is shared to provide proof that we are entering into a new financial system and that our daily banking will be different? This question and many more will be answered on this week's edition of All Across Perspectives Worldly Financial News Report. And as always, we start the call with some videos to share while others join the live call. Good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure, as always, to come together, share concepts, ideas, and the latest news events to make sense of what the heck is going on in our world today. Man, we got some stuff for you guys today. If you even had your TV on, you already know the world is in shambles.
The word the word is what the hell is going on?
I didn't want to be reprimanded.
We got to step it up.
Oh my God. All right, guys.
But I was thinking about when you said they're just the IRS, they were putting them under another. So are they actually getting rid of it, or are they just putting them under something else where they're still going to find a way to tax us a different way?
Well, no,
or
what they did.
money?
Oh, no, that's a great question. So right now, the IRS stands for Internal Revenue Service.
Right.
What they're doing is, because of the tariffs, they have actually changed it to the External Revenue Service. So they're not going to tax, they're not going to get income from us anymore. They're going to get it from tariffs. So when you go to buy something new, you're going to pay an additional percentage on top of that. From my understanding of where I'm hearing, especially with Nisar Jassar, you will not be taxed on the purchase of food, clothing, stuff like that. Okay, so it's going to go to the External Revenue Service. This is someone's viewpoint, but he's sharing the fact. It's a January 20th, no more IRS. Okay, External Revenue Service will replace it.
Told y'all what was going to happen. January 20th, Trump's going to do away with the IRS. And you say, well, what is he going to do? External Revenue Service. The External Revenue Service is where all of America's goods that are exported out of the United States will now be taxed, like every other country does to us. See, if y'all didn't know what other countries, how they work, is all of their law enforcement, military, roads, schools, whatever, the government is paid based off of tariffs. Every time we buy something from China, from whoever, they tax the hell out of us, and that goes towards their country. However, right now, when people buy from the United States, it's tax-free. That's why we get taxed. And just like Trump said, there's no reason to tax an income, then go out and buy something and tax it again. Therefore, there will still be taxes when you go out and buy goods. However, there will not be an income tax. Income tax is obsolete now, starting January 20th, and the House agrees. The Senate is going to sign it. They agree. The whole world agrees. It's how every other country does this shit. So the ERS will now replace the IRS. Our pay is going to go up 30 to 40%, which is absolutely unbelievable. And when Trump was talking about doing this, people were saying, oh, he's a liar. They've already agreed to pass the bill. The ERS, External Revenue Service. All of everything that our IRS pays for now from us will now come from other countries. The External Revenue Service. No more IRS.
So no, that's a great question, though. But yeah, the IRS has been folded in under the Treasury, which also the Federal Reserve has been folded in under the Treasury as well. Okay, so the Treasury, which is a government entity, which is our financial department, they're going to be the ones that handle and cover all this stuff. Okay. Now, Yeah, and I don't know exactly what it's going to look like in the long term at this, because you got to remember, they took us, they put us in the system we're in back in 1871. Okay? So that's roughly 154 years that we've been running under the system that we're running on. And like I said, anything is possible because everything is changing. So embrace the change, guys. Okay, so the next thing I just want you guys to see is President Trump says he will announce a new Fed chair in January. It says why this matters, signals an upcoming shift in the Fed leadership. Markets will front run expectations of a more growth-friendly stance. New chair means potential pivot on rates, liquidity, and regulation. Uncertainty drops, risk asset reprice. Historically, Fed transitions change narratives before policy actually changes. If markets sense lower rates sooner, less restrictive policy, more political pressure on the Federal Reserve, the liquidity expectations rise fast. This isn't about January. It's about positioning ahead of the next macro regime. Risk assets don't wait for confirmation. They move on expectation. They just signal, and the signal just fired. Okay. So just keep that in mind as we see this stuff happen, guys. This is going to be some interesting moves. It says U.S. inflation drops below 2%. The Fed's target, more rate cuts are coming. Okay, so just keep this in mind as we see. Now, I think in the next couple slides, you're going to see there's been some liquidity injections that happen. The U.S. Treasury prints another $105 billion today, and this was on the 31st of December. Okay, so it's a reverse repo operation. So they printed $105 billion on the 31st of December. Today is the 4th. So keep that in mind. So we got December 31st, right? Now, here we go. It says five alarm silver fire. It says banks tap Fed repo facility for another $20 billion on Friday afternoon. It appears that we're looking at a systemic banking crisis straight in the face after TBTF. You remember what TBTF stands for? Anybody remember that?
No.
Too big to fail banks.
Oh, okay.
Took down 74.6 in emergency liquidity from the Fed on New Year's Eve. Okay. The banks just tapped the Fed's repo facility for another 19.8 billion on Friday. 94.4 billion in liquidity injections over the New Year's holiday weekend. Everybody see all this money is coming in. It appears that we are about to discover why the Fed quietly removed the $500 billion daily cap on its standing repo facility in December. We wrote on Christmas Day that if silver was allowed to GAP up to $80 an ounce to match China's silver price, it would detonate the bullion bank's short on silver. Last Friday, as silver skyrocketed from 71 to 79 and the Fed's repo facility was tapped for 17 billion, we asked whether one of the large bullion banks' silver shorts were being liquidated after reportedly being unable to make a margin call. Everybody see what's going on. They keep printing money. So now this is on the 2nd. So I just showed you they just turned around and put all this money in on the 31st. This is only on the 2nd. Okay, that's like 48 hours later. Okay, it says a big storm is coming. I'm not going to read all this. I just want you guys to see this real quick. The Treasury has a massive problem no one wants to talk about. What are they talking about? It says here, there's a giant blue spike right here. Everybody see this spike, okay? Right. All right, so this is what it says. That's in trillions. U.S. debt expires in 2026, okay? That's the amount of debt that expires in this year, not 2030, not 2040. And all of it has to be refinanced at a much higher interest rates than the near zero environment it was originally issued in. It says, so in simple terms, the U.S. loaded up on cheap debt. The debt has to be rolled over at expensive rates. Interest costs are about to explode. Something has to give. Markets, taxes, spending, or the dollar. Everybody see where I'm going. This is crazy where this is going. I'm gonna drop this for those that want to read more into it. I don't want to read it all. I just want you guys to see. I got a whole bunch of stuff for you guys tonight. So let's keep going. Next thing. As you see, guys, it's happening. Banks just tapped $75 billion overnight. This is on the 31st, okay? It says another massive draw from the Fed's repo facility into year end. I apologize. The system still needs emergency liquidity to function. This is the plumbing breaking, not a sign of strength. Liquidity is back and hard assets front run it. Okay. Here we go on the 29th. This was posted on the 29th. The Federal Reserve pumped $16 billion into the U.S. banking system through overnight repos. This is the second largest liquidity injection since COVID. Here we go. This is on the 2nd. Federal Reserve pumps $19.5 billion into the U.S. banking system through overnight repos. This is the third largest liquidity injection since COVID. The largest since COVID was on Friday. Everybody see what's going on. This is the massive money printing that's taking place. They're not going to give it to you. Okay, the Fed injected $18.5 billion through repos and drained $5.7 billion through reverse repos, signaling a short-term funding support. This is on the 3rd. Everybody see where I'm going with this? This is insane. This is money that's being printed out of nowhere. The Fed's balance sheet surged $24.4 billion in the week ending of December 24, posting the biggest jump since March of 2023 banking crisis. This marks the third consecutive weekly increase for a total of $45.5 billion. As a result, the Fed's total assets are up to $6.58 trillion, the highest since the end of October. The Fed is projected to buy $35 to $55 billion in Treasury bills each month in 2026. That would make approximately $550 billion in total purchases this year, bringing the Fed's balance sheet to above $7 trillion, the highest since October of 2024. Can't make this stuff up, guys. These are the things that are happening behind the scenes. Okay. U.S. corporate bond market is expanding rapidly. The total outstanding public investment grade high yield bonds is up to a record $11 trillion. Since 2009, the market has grown over $8 trillion, or approximately over 267%. This has been driven by the growth in high-rated triple B and A debt, which now reflects 79% of all corporate bonds outstanding. By comparison, private credit has expanded to over 1.2 trillion since 2009, or over 67% to approximately $2 trillion. Put simply, public credit has risen 4 times faster than private credit. Public bond markets have become massive. Okay, so it's total market cap of public United States IG and HY markets, $11 trillion. Treasury Percent says the United States should be the premier destination for digital assets.
We believe that the United States should be the premier destination for digital assets. And as members of this committee and the Senate are attempting to do, create good market structure around that, so that U.S. best practices are used around the world.
And that Jamie Dimon. Now, you guys have heard this guy speak. He talks about tokenization of assets and that he was wrong regarding Bitcoin. You're going to now hear Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan Chase.
Skeptical of crypto at one point. He was still skeptical.
I've gotten away with no damage so far. Crypto is real. It can mean blockchain, stable coins. You have a JP Morgan deposit coin. You can move stuff. Smart contracts are real. All that stuff is real. It will be used by all of us to facilitate, better transactions and customer service. Anybody.
Okay, so keep in mind, the banks were doing everything they could to keep you out so they could get their system set up, so they can now say, come in. Everybody see where I'm going. This is the same thing they did with the .com. This is the first time in history that retail led, though. Okay, here we go. Just in, $3 trillion YouTube rival Rumble has launched Bitcoin tipping for 50 million users. Okay, guys, this is Rumble, not YouTube. Listen to what he has to say.
Yeah, so obviously right now we're in the testing phase, and you're the first person to start testing it, and I think you received a few tips this morning, and we're going to start rolling that out alongside Tether here in the coming weeks, and more broadly release that in the coming, I guess, how long would you say we got till it's going to be fully released?
I would say that mid-December, early to mid-December should be our time frame to have all the small bugs and the user experience finessing done. I think is very important when the huge campaign will go out, everything is perfect, and the back end and all the tires are being checked so they can scale to. Rumble has 51 million active users per month, so it potentially, this is one of the biggest user bases that would start adopting a Bitcoin and stable coins in this history of humanity. I mean, this exercise of creating a creator economy around tens of millions of users through like a mainstream digital platform is very unique, right? It's like imagine like YouTube supporting. They will never do that because of course they need to be able to censor and people and have control over their speech. But point is like this is the first. There is such a unique opportunity to showcase to the world how this can be done, and they can actually be done and can be done successfully and a large scale, and that Bitcoin and stable coins can serve not only a part of the population that is very dear to Tether, that is the emerging markets population, but also in the primary economy like the United States, you can actually find use cases for Bitcoin and stable coins that really are going to empower creators. They will bring them the security of the fact that they will not be debanked for what they say.
Okay, I just wanted you guys to hear it. So it just says here that they launched Bitcoin tipping on their platform. Guys, this is interesting to see all this stuff happen. This is crazy. So this is Jack Muller. So remember I just showed you guys that that advertisement that took place in New York City, and it said that you should, wherever prints the money, that kind of thing. This is a gentleman who started 21 Capital, okay? He was the one who has that, his company had that advertisement up. So as Jack Mahler says live on TV that Bitcoin is not going to 150,000, it's going for everything. Here we go.
You see the price of Bitcoin heading?
Higher.
How much higher?
A lot higher. My general framework from the highest level is human beings collectively, we own about $900 trillion worth of stuff. That's equities, the things behind us, real estate, precious metals, fine art, all of the things that we own. Half of that we're using as a savings account. We're owning the portfolio of companies or the art or the house to actually try and persist wealth into the future. I think Bitcoin's going after that market. It's going after a market of $400 to $500 trillion worth, and right now it's $2.5 trillion. So I think in purchasing power terms, Bitcoin can go up 100 to 200 times more from here.
All right, so we know Bitcoin obviously is the most house. You see the price of Bitcoin?
Okay, I just want you guys to hear that. Let's keep moving. Next thing I got. It says here, $3 trillion Goldman Sachs disclosed buying $1.7 billion worth of Bitcoin ETFs. Okay. It said ARK Invest just bought $109 million worth of Bitcoin. And it says you are scared, whales are buying. New York State Pension Fund revealing buying $50 million worth of MicroStrategy. Okay, so now people are investing in the company that's buying Bitcoin. Everybody see where I'm going with this? So it doesn't hurt to invest in these other things as well. Okay, $120 billion Ohio's largest public pension fund or opens disclosed or fund offers disclosed buying $43 million of Masters. So you got another entity that's going in and they're buying into MicroStrategy. So it says pensions are now buying Bitcoin. It says liquidity signal. Stable coin supply keeps printing new all-time highs. It's a fresh capital sitting on the sidelines, not leaving crypto. Historically, this kind of buildup precedes major moves once confidence flips. Liquidity is ready. Markets just haven't pulled the trigger yet. It says market cap for stablecoins is at an all-time high of $310 billion. It says a U.S. Accounting Standards Board will classify some stablecoins as fiat this year. Everybody see where this is going? Okay. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I really don't, because if it's fiat, fiat's going to zero. Everybody see that?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Okay, so like I said, right now, my advice would be stay out of stable coins until the dust settles. That's my advice. Okay, the market is still new. It's too new. You catch your rise on this other stuff. That's just my opinion. You do what you need to do with your money. I'm just sharing what I see for me. Okay. It says here the U.S. may start paying yield on USDT and USDC. Coinbase warns if the Senate messes this up, China wins a stablecoin war. Digital yuan with yield is coming. Dollar stablecoins must respond. You got right here. It says China's turning on interest payments for digital yuan. This is interesting to see where all this goes, guys. So pay attention. All righty. Well, this is Holocaust Perspectives Worldly Financial News Report for the week of January 4th, 2026. I'm your host, Everett Day. Strive to be your best in each and every situation. Leave the result as it is because it's the result. And find a way to raise your vibration so high that the matrix glitches, lights flicker, and stagnant, dormant, and negative energies all transmute just because you stepped into the room. And I'll see each and every one of you over the top. You guys have a beautiful evening, and I will see each and every one of you later.
Thank you.
Brother.